This evening, first, massive improvements to Ghana's river transport system are on the horizon. Find out how a $9.9 billion budget allocation will transform travel and safety on our waterways. Plus, a man is sentenced for breaching a protection order against his father and stepmother. Hear how the court is working to restore peace for the affected family. Also, a taxi driver's alleged housing lot scam has left several victims in its wake. Authorities urge caution. What you need to know to protect yourself. And empowering the nation. 9,000 scholarships are set to be awarded through the GOAL initiative this year. Could this opportunity change your future? Finally, across the border. Unauthorized crossing into the U.S. hit a 4-year low. What this could mean as President-elect Trump takes office. Stay tuned for these stories and more coming up next on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for January 21st, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the government has earmarked $9.9 billion in the 2025 budget to improve river transportation, focusing on safety, efficiency, and sustainability. Senior Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, highlighted key developments during his budget presentation, including constructing a new Parika ferry stelling to transform that area into a central transport hub. The budget also covers the dredging of the Demerara channels to allow for the safe passage of larger vessels. Works will advance on removing wrecks and other obstructions from the Essequibo and Demerara rivers to ensure safety and navigability. Plans are also being streamlined to operationalize 3 new wooden cargo boats serving the Pomeroon, Berbice, and Northwest channels. This will significantly boost capacity and reduce reliance on overburdened transport systems. Ongoing projects include repairs to vessels like the MV Mukuria and enhancements to Bartiga and Port Kaituma facilities. The recently introduced Ferry Pass online booking system and newly acquired tugboats and pilot boats will further modernize services. In 2024, $9.3 billion was invested in similar upgrades, marking continued progress in improving Ghana's river transport infrastructure. In other news, a man sentenced for breaching a protection order highlights the court's commitment to justice. Here's Malcolm Carter with that story.
Walter October, a 33-year-old man, was sentenced to 6 months in prison on Monday for breaching a protection order issued in favor of his father, Hughes October, and stepmother, Abina Rockcliffe. He appeared before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor at the Georgetown Magistrates Court, where he faced charges of violating the order on January 19, 2025. The order prohibited him from coming within 200 feet of Rockcliffe and 300 feet of his father's business at Regent Street, Georgetown. Rockcliffe testified that she had obtained the order the previous Friday after years of harassment. Despite this, October violated it twice, including an incident where he allegedly attempted to break into their shop. The couple revealed that October frequently vandalized their business, threatened customers, and verbally abused them, causing significant financial and emotional distress. October initially denied the charges but later admitted to being in the yard. Magistrate Azor, considering his guilty plea, emphasized the importance of respecting protection orders, stating, "We are trying to maintain order." She noted the maximum penalty for this offense was 1 year, but imposed 6 months, warning October of stricter consequences for further violations. The court aims to restore peace for the affected family. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. David Singh, a 39-year-old taxi driver from ECHO's new housing scheme, East Bank Demerara, is in police custody for allegedly defrauding multiple individuals by falsely claiming he could secure house lots from the Ministry of Housing. The Ghana Police Force has urged victims to report to the Brickdam Police Station. Singh, a former police officer, reportedly used the names of ministry officials and law enforcement to intimidate victims. Singh already faces 2 similar charges in court, with new allegations surfacing. The Ghana Police Force continues its investigation. The public is reminded to apply directly through the Ministry of Housing for house lots. Any claims made by individuals offering to secure house lots on your behalf should be thoroughly verified to avoid falling victim to fraudulent schemes. To ensure a safe and legitimate process, always follow the official application procedures the Ministry of Housing provides. If you suspect any fraudulent activity, please immediately report it to the authorities. For more information, visit the Ministry's official website or contact their office directly. Stick around when we return. Man sentenced to 30 months in prison for cattle theft and violence, and Gold Scholarship Program expands in 2025.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's the best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. In a story highlighting rural crime concerns, a man from North Rupununi faces multiple charges, including cattle theft and violent offenses. We now turn to our reporter Malcolm Carter, who has more on this story.
28-year-old Carlton Jones, an unemployed man from Aranaputu Valley, North Rupununi, was charged with multiple offenses and sentenced to 30 months of jail time when he appeared at the Lethe Magistrates Court on January 20, 2025. Jones appeared before Magistrate Omadat Chandan, charged with 6 counts of larceny of cattle, escape from lawful custody, infinite grievous bodily harm, and unlawful wounding. He was not required to plead to the indictable charges, including cattle theft, escaping custody, and grievous bodily harm. On the 3 summary charges of unlawful wounding, Jones pleaded not guilty. He was sentenced to 10 months imprisonment on each count, with the sentences to run concurrently. The matter was adjourned to March 11, 2025 for further reporting. The charges stemmed from multiple incidents in the North Rupununi area, including allegations of cattle theft and violent altercations. Police continue investigations into the broader circumstances surrounding the offenses. Jones's arrest and subsequent sentencing highlight the ongoing efforts by law enforcement to address rural crimes in the region, particularly cattle rustling and acts of violence. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. The Ghana Online Academy of Learning, GOAL, will award 9,000 additional scholarships in 2025, supported by a $4.4 billion allocation in this year's budget. Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashish Singh, announced the initiative during the 2025 budget presentation in the National Assembly. Since its launch, GOAL has provided over 29,000 scholarships with women comprising 72% of the beneficiaries. Over 6,000 women were granted a scholarship in 2024, with another 6,750 expected to be awarded this year. Programs range from vocational certificates to doctoral degrees, offered through partnerships with institutions like the University of the West Indies. Remote learners can also participate. Applications are open at goal.edu.gy. Even persons living in remote areas can participate, study, and contribute to the nation's transformation through goal. A Georgetown resident is facing firearm-related charges after a Lusignan incident involving a businessman. Here's Malcolm Carter with more on this developing story.
Akeem Thompson, a 27-year-old resident of Lamaha Park, Georgetown, appeared at the Vigilance Magistrates Court on Monday, January 20, 2025, to face charges stemming from a firearm-related incident on January 15 on the Lusignan Public Road, East Coast, Demerara. Thompson is accused of discharging a loaded firearm with intent targeting 37-year-old businessman Fazad Hamid of Lusignan. He was also charged with possession of a firearm without a license and possession of ammunition without a license, both in violation of the Firearms Act. During his court appeal, Senior Magistrate Senel Scarce read the charges to Thompson, who pleaded not guilty to all accounts. The court granted him bail totaling $300,000, which included $100,000 for the offense of discharging a firearm with intent, $150,000 for possession of a firearm without a license, and $50,000 for possession of ammunition without a license. The matter has been adjourned to February 17, 2025 for further proceedings. Thompson's release on bail has sparked interest as authorities continue their investigation into the incident. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. Don't go away after the break. Haiti PM says arrival of Kenyans will help restore peace and security. And Trump's mass deportation plans. Migrant advocates ready to fight the policy.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Malcolm Carter and welcome to our regional and international news segment, keeping you informed and up to date with the trending news stories from around the world. In the Caribbean, Haiti welcomed 218 Kenyan police and military personnel, boosting the United Nations-backed multinational security support mission to 807 officers from various nations. Prime Minister Alex Didier Fils-Aimé emphasized the mission's goal to dismantle criminal gangs controlling over 80% of the capital. Haiti faces escalating violence with over 5,600 deaths in 2024. Belize and Barbados reconsidered troop deployments amid concerns. The MSS aims to reach 2,500 personnel to restore peace and security. Meanwhile, in Central America, Panama's President Jose Raul Molino firmly rejected US President Donald Trump's proposal to take back the Panama Canal, emphasizing that the waterway remains under Panama's sovereign control. Trump accused China of operating the canal and criticized alleged unfair treatment of American ships. Molino dismissed these claims, reaffirming Panama's neutrality and independence. The canal, vital for global trade, was transferred to Panama in 1999 after a US-Panama Treaty signed in 1977. President Trump has promised to deport millions of migrants from the US. As he comes into office, unauthorized crossings at the border with Mexico have dropped to their lowest levels in 4 years. Al Jazeera's Heidi Zocastro reports.
It's a peaceful day along this part of the U.S. southern border, where vacationing Americans are getting a closer look at the border fence. And a rock band plays in the fence's shadow. Besides the music, Donald Trump is inheriting the quietest border in years. Fewer than 50,000 unauthorized border crossings were reported in December after outgoing President Joe Biden tightened asylum rules. Junie Jimenez is among the few asylum seekers who've made it through U.S. screening into this shelter in McAllen, Texas.
We had to pass, even if they made us turn back. We at least had to try.
Jimenez says she and her sons fled Venezuela, then waited 6 months in Mexico for a turn to claim asylum in the U.S. But their turn never came, and they feared that Trump will end the program.
We hurried because we feared after the 20th, anyone who turns themselves in will be deported immediately.
Even now, Trump describes the border as the scene of a migrant invasion, and he says he'll declare a national emergency to justify sending the U.S. military here to seal the border.
We will stop the invasion of illegals into our country. We will defend our territory.
During his first term, Trump oversaw the separation of migrant children from their families and forced asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for months or years. Migrant advocates in the U.S. say they're bracing for those policies to return.
Our plans is to continue to be here to help the families if they're allowed to. Anyone is allowed to enter the United States and be here. We want to make sure we can provide a safe space like this one.
They plan to resist Trump's policies with legal challenges and fear more hardships for migrants ahead. Heidi Zocastro, Al Jazeera, McAllen, Texas.
New settlements in South Sudan have emerged near the Sudan border as people flee intensified conflict. Over 30,000 refugees are in need of aid, with 1,400 arriving daily. Al Jazeera's Catherine Soy reports.
2 months ago, settlements like this in South Sudan were not here. This area is on the border with Sudan. People fleeing war from the north are coming from areas in that country like White Nile State, the Blue Nile, and Sennar regions, and Jazeera State farther north, where fighting has intensified. These biscuits are the first emergency supplies to be received by those who have just arrived. Asha Tajaldin has been here for a month. She's ill, her children are young. She doesn't know if her husband across the border is alive.
I went to the hospital, but they did not give me any medicine. This is the first time I'm getting food.
More than 30,000 people in this area are due to receive aid. About 1,400 are crossing into the country every day. Most use informal entry points along the poorly secured border.
Most of the displaced people want to settle in areas closer to the border, closer to their homes in Sudan. Ideally, they should be relocated to transit centers about 10 kilometers from here, but those transit centers are also full.
Aid workers are struggling to meet all the needs of those here.
Biscuits are not enough. We are doing this to respond as first line of our response, to give them something to it at least for 3 days before they go through other processes. If they are staying here, it is going to be very difficult for the humanitarian organization to come and help them at these locations because it's very close to the border.
Mariam Ahmed and her children have decided to live in this space. She was a farmer back home. Now she can't afford a single meal.
If this country can sustain us, we'll remain here. But right now, everything is very expensive. Food is expensive. The grass and sticks we're using to build are very expensive.
Such is the life of these people who have lost everything. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, on South Sudan's border with Sudan.
And that wraps up our regional and international news segment for tonight. Thank you for joining us as we bring you the latest updates from around the globe. I'm Malcolm Carter. Good night. See you next time. Back to you, Bibi.
And that's Safety B2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can